Hi, I'm Sean Windle with ERP Advisors Group, your trusted ERP advisors. So how do you decide if you need to change software? This is not just accounting. I mean, this is literally your recurring revenue type software, human capital management, procurement, whatever it is, you can use these same rules. So let me just walk through these. So understand your current scene. I think to what you were saying earlier, Derek, as we were talking, like what's really happening in the business today? Like take each department, each business process, kind of break it down. And I'll show you some examples of that here in just a couple minutes. But really understand what's happening within the business. I can give you a great example of that with our business. That of recent, we took a look at our projects, our time and expense tracking and invoicing, and realized that because we were using a lot of spreadsheets, we didn't have visibility into where our projects were at any given time. And so that was starting to lead to just concerns about service and that. Fortunately, we spotted that quickly, and we just implemented a new project management system called MavenLink that's helping us to track our time and expenses and invoicing. So we were able to look across the business and see what was really happening, not just what the gut said, but what was really happening. So that's the first thing. And then determine what's wrong and what's not working. So you almost, once you have kind of a view of your current scene, you can think about what it should be and then see what's different between there. It's a little negative, but you know what? That's it. Just focus on what's wrong. And we look at pain points, which are issues today that you're experiencing, as well as limitations to growth, which may be we're growing and we're hiring. We just worked with one of the fire departments in the south part of town, and they're looking to increase their staff. And so they're not in the pain today, but they're going to be. That's a limitation to growth. And that was a big reason why we helped them select a best-of-breed human capital management system, HR system. And then determine the ideal scene, as I said earlier. It's like, what would it ideally look like? How would this system be set up, and how could it work best for what's needed? And then identify expected benefits of the new software. So if there's no benefits, don't do it. It seems pretty obvious, but actually being able to even quantify, which is a little bit harder, but even just being able to identify what the benefits are is super, super important. Estimate the total cost of ownership. So total cost of ownership is not just what the software salesperson tells you. Please, please, please take that. If you're talking to salespeople, we know lots of great software salespeople, and we know some that aren't so great. But they'll have a tendency to understate the total cost of getting into software solutions. And we'll talk a little bit more about that more too. And then ensure the benefits exceed the costs. Sounds pretty simple, right? But until you've actually looked at it on paper and it's clear to you, there can be questions that go about of why are we doing this? And then assess the change management risks and identify mitigations. So even though you need new software, just as I mentioned with the earlier example with the bakery firm, the risk of change for them is so significant that even though they have the money, they have the right resources, they know exactly what needs to be implemented with the software, to take the time out of the delivery that they're doing with such large customers that they have, to miss an order means you just lost $50 million. Like, this is a very big deal in the restaurant industry. So for them, the change management risks were so significant that they decided not to switch. So for many of our other clients, we look through the change management risks, we identify them, and there's mitigations that are pretty straightforward to do. And then you want to get agreement with all the key stakeholders. So having a broad-based group that's behind the application, but also one person who ultimately is the key stakeholder is really, really important. We'll talk to that here too. And then start the selection, right? Notice this doesn't say, then start the implementation. No, now we're saying start the actual selection process of talking to vendors and vetting out different solutions in that. Tip 2, don't talk to anybody till you know what you want. It's kind of like dating. I use that analogy a lot. Erica usually throws something at me at some point, but we've done pretty good. Hi, I'm Sean Windle with ERP Advisors Group, your trusted ERP advisors.